I just took a bull. This bull has been sounding gnarly, nasty. On my right, there's two bulls fighting. I can see them going, their bodies moving back and forth between the trees. And then all of a sudden I hear this. There's another bull right there. Walking through those aspens.
I shot him. You didn't hear that?
No. We both just shot the same bull.
I shot him first.
He shot him first. Oh my gosh. What a heck of a pursuit, dude. All freaking day.
When your buddy calls you, says you got a buck down. And what does he got? A buck down.
Look what I found.
What a sweet coos, man. Opening day, heck yeah. Way to go, Steve.
Built mountain tough, SKRE Gear offers hunters the highest quality clothing for affordable prices. With patterns designed by military concealment specialists, SKRE Gear brings you closer to the game without being detected. With every climate in mind, SKRE Gear hosts a huge selection of clothing for all the terrains of North America and beyond. Check out SKRE Gear today at www.skregear.com. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ for 15% off your first order.
National Automotive Repair is a locally owned and operated auto repair shop in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona. Jake McLaughlin and his team operate their business with a foundation of honesty, quality, and integrity. From routine oil changes to larger mechanical repairs, National Automotive can solve your issues and have you back in operation. The shop is located right off of I-17 and Thunderbird off Sweetwater Avenue, or call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 at 602-978-3278. Arizona Archery Club is a premier partner with Bowhunting AZ. When it comes to attention to detail and a fiery passion, Arizona Archery Club brings it all to the table. With all the latest bows and archery equipment, you can demo every single model in person free of charge in their multiple demo rooms. Walk through the process with an experienced bow tech and see which bow is right for you without the sales pressure. Their indoor archery range offers air-conditioned lanes where you can shoot out to 40 yards. Take this awesome opportunity to hone in your accuracy and technique. When you visit, be sure to mention that you're a listener to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Let's all support local. Real estate agents, are you looking to make your listing stand out? Arizona Listing Media has been transforming real estate listings since 2013 with their 5-star Google-rated services. Arizona Listing Media offers stunning photography, captivating drone footage, immersive 3D tours, and engaging video reels to showcase your properties at their very best. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game? Visit ArizonaListingMedia.com and book your session today. Let's make your next listing unforgettable.
Yep.
It is recording.
Yeah. Here we go. Welcome to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Ooh. Yeah.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Get a little Lucy. Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of our camera gear episode that we've been talking about. We're going to cruise through this one a little faster because, to be frank, we got UFC fights and friends on the way. So Jake and I are going to finish these cigars that we got going.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to have a good time tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to cruise through this thing, man. I mean, we already talked about what it takes to get into this filming, and
I'd say part 1 was like the gear, right? Well, I mean, this is gear too, but this is kind of what goes after the filming.
Right. Which I'm going to do a lot of relying on you and asking you because you're just a pro, you know?
You tee it up for me and I'll talk.
All right, dude.
Yeah, all right, dude.
So, I mean, yeah, like I said, now we know what what it takes, the equipment and all that to be able to get the footage.
Yep.
Now it's going to be a lot of afterwards to be able to create those effects. So we talked about like slow-mo and all the gear that we need to be able to do it. Now it's going to end up going into software, what we use to edit, how to edit it, all that stuff as well. So yeah, I mean the equipment. I mean even as far as what kind of computer or laptop you're going to need to be able to do stuff like this, because you're going to need to have something that's got a good amount of storage, a good amount of RAM. So, I mean, there's so many options. What is it? B&H Photography is a website to be able to B&H Photo to be able to see and compare a lot of different products. Obviously, for maybe even a great place to look for a camera, but for your editing software as well. So like your PC that you need to be able to do this on. You had recently purchased a few years back a new computer to be able to do some of this stuff.
Yep.
And you ended up settling on a Dell XP or something like that. I don't know what it is.
So I ended up being hired by a hunting ranch out in Texas as their marketing director. So part of the other stuff that I do aside from my main business is I can do like websites, SEO, obviously media, social media management, all that stuff, marketing plans, email marketing, all that. And so I got hired by this ranch to do that. And so I needed a laptop that could really one, because I've had liquid cooled desktops that could chew through this like no problem.
Right.
But then I was like, okay, I need to be mobile. I can't take a tower with me everywhere I go. So I needed mobility. So I bought a Dell XPS 17.
Okay.
And then you can buy that base model, but then you can trick it out too on top of all that. So dude, I went like full tilt. Like I was like 64 gigabytes of RAM,
screen resolution, all that.
Dude,
crap.
It's got I didn't need it, but it has the touch screen, but it just had all the bells and whistles. I was like, I'm investing into another business portion at that point. So for me, sometimes when I go do something like that, I'm like gung ho. Like price is no option on that.
Yeah. But, and then the other thing is, so on top of that, obviously you want as much storage as you can get to be able to handle some of the scenes and to be able to create.
To piggyback off that though, laptops have some limitations on storage.
Exactly. So I was going to say you want as much as you can get, but then also you want to get some sort of a external storage device to be able to save a lot of that
definitely
data. So
definitely. So yeah, I bought this Dell XPS 17. It was the perfect, like you can get some bigger laptops, but I think that's the perfect in terms of like flying. It's just a smidge bigger than like an airplane tray. So if I'm sitting on an airplane and I want to work a little bit, which for instance, I went to Africa, I'm flying 15 hours plus an hour or plus a flight to I flew from here to New Jersey, plus then from New Jersey to South Africa was a 15-hour flight just on that stint alone. So if I wanted to work, which I did, I don't want to have this like monstrosity laptop that's way bigger and cramping another person and stuff. I want it to kind of fit on the tray that I have, but I would still want it to allow me the viewership that I need to do what I need to do in terms of editing software.
So what he's saying that is like just the screen size. So like Dell, a lot of other companies, they have a 13, a 15, a 17.
I think they have a 19.
They have a 19?
I think so. Yeah.
So
you could do something crazy big. If
the nice
really
thing about
to.
a 17 is you have a bigger screen to be able to view a little bit easier of that frame that you're looking at, right? Yeah. So if you have a 13 or a 15, 15 is probably fine, but
13 would be kind of small.
But 13 is very small to be able to like finally look at that screen and see like certain things to be able to edit. Like, okay, this part of it I want to change a little bit.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Where the 17 you can kind of really focus and see the whole picture of that frame.
I would say that 15 to 17 is probably like the sweet range.
Right.
If they have like a 14 or a 16, that's fine too. I don't know what other manufacturers choose for their screen sizes, but I would say that within about that realm is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other things that we're talking about with the computer aspect is like a processor, right? So being able to try and have a really good processor to be able to help with editing and doing all these things. Otherwise, it's just real slow. It gets super slow.
It gets extremely frustrating trying to edit really high quality footage on a computer that can't handle it.
Yeah.
Your computer will just bog down and you're going to try and play back footage that's going to skip and is the most frustrating because you can't see a cohesive story going on.
Right.
And at that point, it's almost like pointless. So
Right. Right.
You're going to throw something at the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Same thing with RAM. I would say 32 is very minimal. I mean,
minimum 32.
yeah.
I prefer 64.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then now they have levels of RAM. So it used to be DDR3.
Yeah. That
Now
was
it's
too.
DDR5. And I think there's even a newer one on top of
Like
that. now,
DDR7
too.
or something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably. And so, yeah, whatever the newest one is, I want to go max on that.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all that is to just really help with cohesively editing each film, especially when it's in videography. You know,
Right.
so photos might be you don't necessarily need as much, but
Yeah. Photography, you can get away with a lot more.
Right.
For sure. Unless you're doing
a
like
lot less.
bulk.
Unless you say, but
Yeah, a lot less. Yeah, I'm sorry. Unless you're doing like bulk editing, which takes more memory. If you're editing like hundreds of images all at once, like I do sometimes.
Yeah,
But even then, you're what's called culling your images. So you're gonna upload your images to your
and you're gonna filter a lot of it.
yeah. You'll filter through and you'll say, okay, I like this one. I don't like that one. I like this one. You can mark them in the programs that I use. You can mark what ones you like and you don't like.
Right.
That's called culling your images. And then maybe I take all the ones I like. I do some auto tune to it, and then I do my own custom presets to it. And
Okay.
that might take a little bit more memory. But if you're just doing general photo editing to where you're editing like 20 images maybe or something, like you actually don't need anything special for that.
Yeah, that ain't
But-
gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, it's when you start to get into bulk stuff and doing higher amounts. You know, if I'm editing
video.
a 13-day elk hunt all in one thing, like, dude, I
Yeah.
need some power for that. So
Yeah.
that's where you get into that.
I mean, next thing would be the actual software that you need to use. So, like Adobe, is it Lightroom or what is it called?
Yeah, so Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop for photography is kind of your home turf, basically. There are a bunch of other ones out there that you can use. There's some free versions and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I think pretty much anybody that's doing it,
Right.
high quality hobbyist or professionally, is going to be using Lightroom and Photoshop.
So, what's the difference between the two?
Lightroom has been, I would say, well, Photoshop was the home turf originally. And it's still like, if you really want to get super intricate and start layering photos together and start doing some masking and some other things, like that's what you need Photoshop for.
Yeah. So I remember like when you were getting me kind of into it, you'd almost have like, when you take a photo, there was like 5 different frames, right?
Yep.
So you get like super low, you get real dark, start getting a little bit lighter, and then you also have like an extreme. So you have extreme on both ends, and then you have in between, and then you can kind of mash them together to try and get that perfect photo.
It's HDR. Yeah.
Yeah.
HDR photography. So you're taking 5 frames, you're doing what's called your 0, which is like perfect exposure. Then you're doing +2, -2, another +2, and another -2.
Right.
So I guess it technically in your head would be, to make it simpler, would be +4, -4.
Right.
You know, so you're doing like mid-range, a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. Super lighter, super darker, and then you're merging those together into one cohesive image. The idea being that like the human eye can pick up things that a camera can't. Technology is not there yet. So I can look at something and I can be like, cool, that shadow over there is super dark, but I can see into it perfectly.
Right.
But a camera can't do that. You know, you take a picture and you look at it and you're like, I can't even see into that shadow over there. So that's what we're doing with HDR, is we're being able to take what's called that dynamic range, which is our eye can see all of those ranges from the brightest brights to the darkest darks. We're merging them together and then we're putting it into one image to mimic what our eyes can do.
And then even then, so once you get that perfect photo, right, after you kind of merge them all together, then you can still even on top of that adjust and edit further. So.
Yeah. Majority of the time, and for hunting reasons and stuff, I think 99% of us are going to live in Lightroom. I don't really see much of a reason to go into Photoshop unless you start branching into some sort of commercial work that you need to start doing stuff. For instance, I've done product photography for companies, camo company. Okay, yeah, so SKRE. All right, SKRE has hired me to do product photography in the past. Yeah, weird.
Dang.
If you go on SKREgear.com, most of their product photography, I've done that. I think I haven't checked in a while, but in the past, I've done a lot of their product photography, and so then I'm doing things like clipping, I'm doing some masking in there, I'm doing some adjustments and stuff like that Lightroom couldn't offer me.
Okay.
And so I'd have to break into Photoshop and then do stuff in there in Photoshop and everything, because that's something that you're being very particular about for a piece of clothing to represent a brand that you really want full control over.
So, it's not necessarily Lightroom's just for videography and Photoshop's just for photos, right?
Yeah, Lightroom's not really for videography at all.
Okay.
Yeah, Lightroom and Photoshop are very photo specific.
Okay.
Then for videography,
that's a whole different software.
Yeah.
So, just trying to clarify to let you guys know. I mean, just to bring as much information as we can. But yeah,
Sure.
that's not necessarily anything for videography yet.
No, not at all. Videography is going to be Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what's cool about that is Adobe has all these different suites, right? So they've got the Premiere Pro, they've got the Lightroom, they got the Photoshop. So usually if you get a subscription, you can end up getting like the deluxe suite where you can get pretty much like all of these different suites. So you can get Lightroom, you can get Premiere Pro, you can get Photoshop, to be able to help get into all three of these different softwares to help you create whatever you need to create.
Yeah, so, I think it.
It's a yearly subscription or a monthly. I don't know.
It's monthly. I think they just updated their pricing, but at the time it was like
$30,
$10.99 for for Lightroom and Photoshop, and then I think it was like right now I think I'm paying roughly about $50 for all of the apps.
That's what I thought.
They kind of squeeze you into. You got to pay for everything in order to get Premiere Pro and Lightroom and Photoshop and all that stuff. So
yeah, it might have gone up then because I remember it was like $30 or $40. So whatever. Yeah. But either way, if it's something you're serious about and you're wanting to use to create some stuff, then you need it.
Yeah, and so Premiere Pro is like, man, probably what a majority of even the movies that you see, like Hollywood movies, that's what they're editing in these days. Yeah. So it really is like the workhorse of film editing. So if you're looking to do like quality, cinematic stuff like what Jim Shockey's done, Tom Miranda, I've worked with Tom Miranda. He does Premiere Pro, like all those guys.
Like Brandlin Shockey and all that.
Yes.
Like his son.
Yeah, his son Brandlin, actually, it's not Jim, but his son Brandlin does all of his stuff. I bet you he's working in Premiere Pro.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, so like just an overview of what Premiere Pro is. So like you'll get all these different scenes, right? Because you're not going to just like 100% film the whole hunt in just one scene. Right?
Yeah, so you're going to be splicing images together. You might slow this piece down to 30%. This one you might do a little bit normal speed, and then you're going to tell that story.
So you can create a pretty much a timeline or a storyline in Premiere Pro, and you just start. Hey guys,
we're doing an Instagram live for those on the audio version.
What you'll do is you'll get all these clips, you'll upload them or download them onto your computer, and you just start uploading them into the software, right? And so you'll just start going into timeline of like, okay, obviously, this happened first. You pull this up, however you want your story to be. Maybe you might have seen. Go ahead, buddy.
Sorry. So Joshua Tree, I see you, buddy. Rock on, dude. Check out Mountain Project. They're a great example of guys that do very cinematic stuff. So Josh, this episode that we're filming right now for the podcast is all about video, photo, 100%, gear related, lenses, drone, all that stuff. So just kind of covering a whole basis of that and everything that needs to go into, if you want to film your own hunt, what's required to do all that stuff. So camera bodies, lenses, all that jazz. Check out Mountain Project because they absolutely kill it in terms of, I think, cinema quality. They're probably one of the top 5
for like, especially for like the own, pretty much almost like a DIY because they don't
very much DIY, like ground level, probably on average, each hunt has probably 4 to 5 guys probably. And it's just guys, multiple camera angles, like all that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're mostly local. So that's cool.
A bunch of Arizona boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're going to need Adobe Premiere Pro for video editing, Lightroom, maybe Photoshop for photo editing, but mostly Lightroom.
Yep.
The next big thing, like I said, if you're filming any sort of hunt or photographing any sort of hunt, you're going to need some big bucks storage. All right. Because all this 4K footage,
Yeah.
high
That
megapixel
takes so
stuff
much room.
eats storage.
Yep.
Like crazy.
Yep. I put it into perspective of like if you're a gamer, right? So like if you're a gamer or whatever, you got all these different games, like every download, all this. Like if you got this massive, high quality game, whatever, it takes up room on your console.
Right.
Same exact concept.
Right. Yeah. You're just going to chew away at storage.
So
That's why, like you said, for the gamers, if you go buy an Xbox, maybe somebody buys the entry level one, but typically you want to buy the one with the terabyte storage.
most, the most
whatever,
storage.
because you want to put a few games on there and have all the back save data and all that stuff. So,
yep.
yeah. So 4K footage in particular is what's going to be your storage hog. All right. So this is where the importance of like an external hard drive comes in.
You can find them fairly cheap too.
Yeah, storage now is cheap. At first, what sucks is like when the technology first comes out,
It was
it's
expensive.
so expensive. Now, thank God,
Yeah.
storage is fairly cheap. So you can go online on Amazon, and I think I don't know what they were. It's been a while since I bought some new
You can
ones.
get like 2 for 10K even, I'm sure, probably now.
Okay.
And some of them might get a little bit bigger, but you can get some that are the size of like a phone charger.
Yeah.
Like those little mobile little charger packs.
Like a
for your
power
phone.
bank?
Yeah, like a power
Yeah,
bank. You
yeah.
can get them the size of that.
Yep.
And so it's very mobile. If you're out in the field and you got your laptop with you or you got your camera and you just need to be able to dump that footage to be able to free up your camera for the next day or whatever.
Yep.
You just put it on that.
So I run with 2 4 terabyte hard drives. One is my main that I work off of, and then I back up that main to the extra one every 30 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because inevitably a hard drive will corrupt at some point. It's not if, it's when. So if you're a guy that's like super serious about saving your stuff and you want to back it up, do that regularly.
Well, it's also just good practice to be able, for some reason, if something ever happens or whatever, you just want to have that footage saved. So
100%. Yeah. I actually do 3s. I've got a main, a spare, and I use a cloud storage system too. And I've got all my stuff backed up.
So the other thing is obviously organization. Me owning a business,
Right.
or running a business, I should say as well.
Yeah.
I'm very, very. I don't want to say
Organization.
I don't want to say the word anal, but
Anal. Oh, he's anal.
but I'm very particular about having things organized
He's anal.
in my files. So like receipts, everything. Everything has to be organized and labeled, and it just makes things easier for when you're trying to find or upload things.
I think that's because at the same time too, you're a guy at scale, and you have to have other people be able to seamlessly look at it too. And so whereas if you're just a single person running something for yourself, it doesn't matter how you organize it because you know where that's at. But if you have multiple people looking at things, then you got to have something that can be kind of brainless, really.
Yeah, but it just in general, it just makes things easier.
Yeah.
To be able to know, you can get it by date, you can get it by
I'm going to write it out.
label.
I think I do. So let's say for instance, this year I do 2025, and then I would do by month. Okay. And then from month, I would go down to OTC deer, well, this is February, but let's say OTC deer, January
and then the week.
24th.
The dates, yeah.
2025 hunt, and then I would even do let's just say
1/7 till 1/16.
unit. No, I would do
Oh,
unit 14C.
Nice.
which doesn't exist. So, but yeah, that's how I would do it. So if I was organizing a hunt, say I went and filmed a hunt and it was an OTC deer hunt, I would do 2025 for the year. I would do the month, which would be, let's say, January. I would do the file itself, which is OTC deer, January 24th, 2025. I would do deer hunt 14C for the unit. And then even inside of that, I will do final, which is where I only export my final files once they're ready to be like literally dropped and uploaded to the internet.
Right.
I'll have another one called raw because all I do is shoot in raw. So that's all my raw footage.
You just the raw
I just
dogging
raw
guy.
dogging in there.
Yeah.
All the raw dog goes into that file. So all the raw footage goes in there. That's where I dump. It's called dumping your card. I'll take my card and I'll dump all that raw footage into the raw file. And then once I'm finally ready to export, I'll go ahead and put it into the final folder.
Yeah.
And, maybe I have because nowadays maybe you're doing a vertical reel. And so I'll export one and I'll do reel.
Yeah, that's true. Because now you got all the
Yeah.
social media where you want it to be vertical, but
Yep.
you want an organic video. You want a film that's going to be landscape.
Horizontal landscape and go to YouTube. And so I'll
Yeah.
do one called reel and then I'll do another one called, just YouTube or something.
whatever.
And I'll put that into the final folder. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I break down my organization.
Yeah.
But yeah, so make sure you have plenty of storage. Make sure you have those external hard drives. Make sure you have an organization, file organization planned out ahead of time,
Yeah.
just to make it all easier for you. Because
Cohesive. Yeah.
it sucks having to go back and redoing all of that.
Or trying to like when you're in your Premiere Pro and you're like, where is that scene? I needed that scene, and you're like searching forever. And you're like, I don't know where it was. I don't know.
Yep.
So just make it easier.
Battery life. So guess what? Shooting 4K footage chews through a battery.
Yeah.
You're out in a hunt and you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a charger, probably, unless you have power, and maybe if you're staying in an RV, you do.
I guess,
but
yeah.
if you're a backcountry guy and you're filming a hunt, you're going to need extra batteries. So I've got, for our Sony cameras that we use,
Oh, we've got a bunch.
I've got 5.
Really?
And-
I thought you.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have many more.
No, maybe
Because I think
6.
I bought like 2 or 3 when I bought that
Yeah.
camera, and then you've already had plenty.
Those will last me, say I'm filming an elk hunt, 5 days, 6 days, maybe. As long as I'm mindful of it. I'm mindful now.
Well, back in the day, we would just let that thing run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you would just. I remember the turkey hunt. I remember I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get as much food as I can get,
Which is great.
and
Yeah.
I just let that thing run for the whole morning, and I was
Sure.
like, it was like 10 o'clock, and the camera's dead.
Like, dang, camera's dead. Needed
what?
the battery. I was like, shoot, man, we only got 3 more. You better calm down.
Well, what do you want, the hunt or what, dude?
Right.
But
Have plenty of batteries. The other thing you need to be mindful of too, even for Arizona, is like cold.
Yep.
Cold will actually kill batteries. So you'll have a fully 100% charged battery. You'll throw it in a camera and it'll be 70%. And if it's 13 degrees out, that's why.
yeah,
So you got to be careful about that too. Keep them warm. Keep them against your body. Your body heat will actually preserve that power that's in there.
Yeah.
So
and then just like you said, be mindset of like whenever you get your shot, whenever you're done with it, and you're gonna start hiking or moving, just shut it off.
yeah. Let's talk about muffs.
I love muffs. What is the dude? I'm a muffer.
Are you?
I love.
You're a
muffin.
mother muffer?
I'm a muffin.
Let me grab a mic real quick.
What he's talking about? Oh, nice. Is on the speaker. So like when you have a videography, you obviously have something to pick up the sound, right? But you want something to deaden the sound. You don't want to be able to pick up every little like wind, like something like that. You want it to kind of help filter all that noise.
Right.
So they have these like foam.
It's called a dead cat.
Yeah, well, that one's not. But
It doesn't. Yeah. So this is not. So this is this is called a shotgun mic, and it mounts.
And what sucks, I wish
It
they made
mounts on
something
a-
that was a little bit more sturdy because those break
Yeah,
every time.
These ones suck. Well, the newer ones are actually smaller.
Okay.
So this is a shotgun mic, and it mounts on what's called a cold shoe or a hot shoe on top of the camera. So you can slip this thing in here, you tighten this down, and then you got a microphone on top of your camera. but this shotgun mic will pick up anything and everything around you
Right.
versus like maybe a wireless lapel where it's more centralized if you're just recording voice.
Just for yourself. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, they have these big fuzzy things. So you
Yeah.
would slip this off. Let me see.
And it almost looks like a varmint thing.
So here, yeah, it does, like a varmint, the coyote.
Like a little tail thing
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
It looks like a coyote tail, and you would actually slip this off and then slip it back over the mic housing, and it looks super fuzzy. And what that fuzziness does is it cuts the wind down, so you don't
Yeah.
get that. You'll see some terrible hunt videos where it's like I can't freaking understand the person because it's just yeah, and they're talking and you're like I don't know what you're saying. That's why, because they're not using a dead cat and they should have. Lapel mics have dead cats, and these shotgun mics have dead cats. And I have one. You've probably seen it in some of our films, but
it can't, like, those mics can get super sensitive and pick up a whole lot. So,
everything.
So you really need something to help filter that mic.
Yep.
But,
So get a dead cat. I
you
recommend
also-
honestly just buying one, throwing it on there, and leaving it.
but you do need like the shotgun mic because you need something to help amplify the sound.
Yep.
Because the camera itself is not going to be able to pick up a lot of that noise.
Yeah. So if you're using a lapel mic, you might not pick up the bow going off.
Right.
The shotgun sound, like for our turkey hunt, we used the shotgun mic with the dead cat, and it was
Right.
perfect because you heard and the shotgun went off, and I was like, whoa! Like, and you got me talking. Didn't go 20. So having that shotgun mic for that situation right there was perfect because I was sitting next to my cameraman anyways. So you could already pick up my vocals and stuff
Right.
like that.
That was so funny. Like, speaking of backtracking, like in the episode before of being a cameraman versus being a hunter.
Yep.
At that point, I was like, I need to get this shot on camera. So I was like so focused on the camera where like you were like, didn't go 20. And I was still in frame of like the camera. I was still looking at it and you're like, let's go, dude. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go.
I was like, come on, get up, we're moving.
Like I was still like just in focus of the camera, like, okay, I guess, yeah, let's go.
Yep. That's just being in the moment, though. Really
Right.
is what it is, right? Yeah. So plenty of batteries. Make sure you got a shotgun mic. It's probably your first. Do not. If you're buying a camera to film, please don't use on-camera microphones. They're not good. It'll never work.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you always
You're
want
going to buy this shotgun mic
Yep.
right here. I think it's like 80, 90 bucks.
Yeah,
It's the
probably
Rode,
about that.
Rode mic go.
The only thing, like I said, is back and like you
Rode
said,
video
I guess,
mic go.
They've updated them, but the
Yeah.
only problem that I had is they freaking break every time.
They do
the
break.
mounting.
The
that's
mounting,
why it's
yeah.
That's why you've got it
Cheap
freaking
plastic.
strapped on.
I think my other one, I've got a paracord holding
Yeah,
it
yeah,
down.
paracord. Yeah, I remember that and so you do need something to help hold that little fuzzy thing on or the
Yeah.
foam because if you get caught on a thorn brush or whatever, it will slip right off.
If you go through cat claw or anything.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, they probably didn't build these with the ruggedness in mind that we're doing.
of a hunter.
Yeah, no.
You think? No.
No. They would their road is actually Australian. They weren't expecting us to go down under.
Oh gosh.
Solo
whiskey
filming. So for self hunters, learning to set up tripods and kind of anticipating things. Remote shutter can be a use. Otherwise, pretty much you're just going to set up your camera, hit record, then go run, give it a second, and then start filming.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. It's of doing it by yourself is a lot of I hate to say it but like staging almost more or less.
yeah.
So like when you go and like you get the scene of where like you walk by and then you gotta you go walk by or you walking up through the camera through the scene
Right.
and then you walk through and then you gotta walk back, you gotta get your camera, and then you gotta go set up again, you gotta walk back again. It's so much easier just having somebody else with you do it, dude.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the sucky part. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
In terms of weatherproofing, I would say
okay, never mind.
I was trying to highlight.
I know you were, bro. It's just I was trying to see if anybody's saying something.
Oh yeah, we're doing an Instagram live. I'll
'Cause I can't
record the
see.
second part here. So weatherproofing, most of these cameras are actually pretty darned weatherproof.
See, somebody said so. Oh, Cindy did.
The DSLR, the Nikon DSLR is actually that's a Pro Series camera.
What kind
So
of Brussels sprouts do you want? The good kind.
Are there?
Duh.
Is there more than one kind?
I don't know. Is there more than one kind of Brussels sprout, Cindy?
Just bring them, Cindy. We'll make the Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
There's the Nikon DSLR is a Pro Series camera. I can actually get that thing pretty darn soaked, not submerged in water, but I could like be next to a waterfall and it'd be dropping water on me and I'd be fine.
The only, I guess, problem is when you're in like something where you got rain or anything like that. Yeah.
We've been in rain with those cameras.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm not saying that weatherproof wise. It's just like whenever you're in something like that, it's always gonna bring the quality down because now you're gonna get raindrops on your lens or you're gonna get all this stuff. So you like this stuff kind of does help because it will help. It sticks out a little bit further than that lens.
That's a lens hood.
Yeah. So the lens hood and it's removable.
Yep.
It does help with shade or to create a shade.
Yeah.
So for sun, but if it's raining, it hits this. It doesn't actually get on the lens itself.
Yep.
Otherwise, if it's raining, that water's getting right on that freaking lens.
I never take my lens hoods off. I just leave them.
Or the other thing is, if it gets dark, you can always just flip
the
it,
other way. Yep.
go this way,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, it makes it easy.
Put the lens hood on. Honestly, just leave it. Same thing with the filter. I always keep a microfiber cloth in my bino pouch. That way I could, you want to wipe off your binos anyways.
Stuff like that.
But if you're filming, the same thing for the lens. You want to wipe off the lens and keep that clean too. I always leave the end of the lens is the most important part. 100%. I leave that tilted down all the time.
Okay.
If you're not actively filming, the end of your lens is down at the ground, almost like a like barrel control, right? So, just because you don't want to get stuff in the barrel of your gun, you also don't want to get stuff on the barrel of your lens either. So keep it pointed down.
That teed up into the next thing.
Hey, there you go.
There is a little super cool device that goes on the strap of your backpack or it goes on the strap of your bino harness. But you can mount it onto the. So this is the mounting plate for the bottom of your camera that will go onto a tripod. I think this is an Arca Swiss mount, right?
That's an Arca Swiss mount. Yeah,
so this is an Arca Swiss mount. So yeah, I got this right here. So what's cool about this is I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little thing right here.
I'll turn the Instagram live around.
Okay. Anyways, but what's cool about this is it's very minimal, right? And it just clamps onto your strap.
God, look at that face. What a beautiful man.
But it just clamps onto the strap of anything. Yep. So like if it's on your bino harness, if it's on your backpack, whatever, right? But what's cool about this is this goes onto the base of the camera. So like he's got it right here. So right there, see how it's threaded on the bottom? Almost like a GoPro, right? Yeah. So like a GoPro has the same thing, a thread on it. And so you just put this right here onto the base of that.
Yep.
Just like that.
Twist it in there real quick. So if you guys want to watch the YouTube version, we'll show you this here. I'll hold it up for you guys real quick for the video.
All right. So right there.
Close enough. It should be the other way, but that'll work.
Yeah, it'll work.
That'll be there. And then you can slide this on. Boom. Other way. There you go.
Actually, I do think I need to be the other way.
You're good. Just do it good enough. So for those on audio, envision you got your pack on. It's on your torso, right? You're wearing it. And on your left strap, I prefer my left strap. So there's a clamp that clamps on, and it's got a U-shaped adapter on it. And then you put on your bottom of every camera is a threaded porthole. And so you put this Arca Swiss mount on it, and then you can drop your camera into this adapter, and it locks it into place so it's on your shoulder and on your strap. There's plenty of pictures. I'll post a picture shortly after this podcast goes on. You all right there? You know, struggle bus dude? What are you doing?
But anyways, this goes on right here.
Hey, so check us out. Here's how you mount a lens. See that white line? Matched up with the white line on the camera. It's all right. He's new here. He was a DEI hire.
Like I said, that's how it goes. But anyway, so the whole point of it is you have your camera down like this.
Yep.
So what in quintessential in the scenario is
Yep.
this camera lens is facing down, right?
Right.
So if it's raining, you're not getting anything on that lens. And all this is weatherproof, so you don't have to worry about anything getting in there.
And then your lens, the barrel of your lens is pointed down. You don't worry about elements or any of that stuff getting onto it too much.
The only thing is this outside here, but
That's weather sealed. The body is weather sealed. Typically,
Yeah.
the lenses, not so much. They are, but they aren't. But the body usually is a lot more weather sealed than anything else. So
this is a Peak design, and what's cool about it is it's just got this lever right here. You just literally hit that little button right there.
yep,
Boom,
unlocks and you
pulls
can
right
take
out.
that camera out of the adapter with the mount.
And
It's
you're
ready to
ready.
rock.
Boom.
Clack, 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 capturing all them kill
All right,
shots.
I got to get this done because this is
Is that bothering you?
it really is bothering me.
Match up the white lines. So Jake's putting the lens onto the body.
Okay.
Wait.
Boom.
Oh, it didn't click. Let it click.
Yeah, dude.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I got headphones on. I can't hear.
Yeah, come on. And then right here, little button right there.
Shoot, dude. Boom. Unmounted. And then you
Ready?
can see the sensor in there too. You want to be careful and always protect that sensor. So when you change in the field, you don't want dust to get in there. You
Yeah.
should change your lenses.
You always want it facing down.
with the body face down. Protect that sensor at all costs.
But just to show you,
Yep.
see, it's locked in. So we're good.
Yes, sir.
So then, what we were talking about earlier, I don't know if we ever showed you, but this is a telephoto lens.
Yep.
So this goes from a 28 all the way to 200.
Yep.
They probably even have newer ones now that probably even go further.
They've got I think they just came out something stupid. It was like an 18 to 300 or something. Yeah, like retarded.
Dope. So 18 means you can get a wider frame.
Yep.
300 means you can get a lot more zoom, a little tighter.
Yep.
But anyways, the other thing is this right here. What's cool about it is you can lock it in. So that locks it in. You can't twist it.
'Cause
it's super convenient when you're
Unlock
hiking.
it and face it down.
Yeah. So when you're hiking, and you're just going like this
You'll
or whatever,
see.
it's
It'll
just
do
like,
it on
like
its-
it's just it just
Yeah.
goes down by itself. So
It's annoying.
when you're hiking, going up a mountain or whatever, it's sitting on your pack like this, right? And so like, oh man, it just gets in the way. So
Yeah.
what's nice is you just lock it, boom. Whenever you're done,
Yep.
unlock it. Okay, boom. Here we go.
Heck yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yes,
But
sir.
That's a Tamron lens for you.
Yep. So that's another hot tip.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Weatherproofing. Yeah, again, if you're using a drone, make sure you know your drone laws. Make sure you're following the FAA. Got your registration and all that stuff. Obviously, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is respect wildlife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then transparency and content. Yeah, just
Always keep it 100.
always keep it what?
Always keep it 100.
100,
100.
100%, 100%.
No, but for real, man, like that's the cool part. I think of what we've done is always try to be transparent and keep it real, man. I mean, if we do something wrong, own up to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's in a learning curve.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's certain things where we've learned. We obviously, thankfully, we're smart enough and we do research to where, like, you can't use drone, to
Right.
be able to aid in the hunt. We know that.
Right.
Like, there's got to be a certain research and smartness to this where, like, you can't just go out there blindly or dumbingly, I guess. I don't know how other word to say it, but
Yeah.
like there has to be some sort of smart to what you're doing instead of breaking a law
yeah.
or even just unknowingly.
Right.
And if you're at that point where you're going to go and do this thing unknowingly, that's not cool.
Sure.
You got, that's just like reading regs. You have to, if you're serious about hunting, you need to know the regs.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I think that comes down to self accountability.
Yeah.
Say you've got a group of hunters, right?
Right.
You got two people with tags. One's tagged out.
Yep.
You're flying a drone across to get a walk up shot of a dad and a son walking up to a buck, and you happen to spot a second buck that you didn't know was there.
You can't do that.
And all of a sudden you're like, oh, gee, I got another hunter here with
Can't
a
do
tag.
that. Can't do that.
It's on you to be like, that's not ethically right.
Right.
We're done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to shut the drone. I'm going to bring the drone down. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to walk over there with the camera and do a ground version of dad and son walking up to the buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be limits, man. You can't just, like you said, that's just not right. Flat out.
yep.
Flat out. So,
Yeah, I think all of this really, I hope we've encompassed just about everything in terms of gear, editing,
what was,
how to tell the story.
I guess I'm going to leave it at this, right? What was the goal end of you filming your hunts and being able to capture moments like that? I'll tell you mine 100%. I know what it is, but what was yours?
Well, I think twofold.
Okay.
I think one, to share, I don't know how else to put it. It sounds kind of, I don't like the way I say it, but the lust
Mine might be a little bit more
the lust of the woods,
selfish, but yeah.
like the love of the woods.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is something that is so amazing. I think I need to find a better word. I don't like lust. I don't like that. Just the draw of the outdoors, the amazingness that this has to offer us. And
So
I felt like
beautiful.
I could capture those epic, beautiful scenes. There's one shot that we had on my turkey hunt in the film where it was like the morning sun was coming through two pine trees and it was showing dew drops on the grass. And we come up and it's like,
who got that shot?
You did.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, like as turkey hunters, it's spring.
Yeah.
There's grass, there's dew on the grass.
It's cold in the
sun's coming
mornings.
through. It's cold, but
Yep.
like, how beautiful. It's so peaceful.
Yep.
Like, so the draw, that, and then also, like you said, a little bit selfish too. I like, these are from my memory.
Yeah.
I want to leave someday when I'm dead and I'm gone. I hope my kids can look back and be like, this is a piece of my dad that I still have. And it's like this cool cinematic thing that he did. And it was like, how awesome were these moments that he had? And I hope to get a few with them too. Because I have one with our dads. Sorry.
That's
go ahead.
no. That's perfect. Like your selfishness is for your kids, right? Which is weird because my selfishness is
And
for
my dad. I haven't.
is for my dad,
need to
and
add to my dad's.
I'm selfish where in the fact of I want memories of to where I can film them and be able to look back and to be
Yeah.
able to have these videos of me and the old man,
Yep.
like growing up. That's what we did, man. That like we hunted all the time, every fall, dude.
Yeah.
It seemed like, but
Yeah.
like every fall we would always go cow elk hunting, or we would have me and my grandpa, we had javelina tags.
Right.
So it was just like being able to have something in hard film to be able to watch that versus just a memory.
So, what do you have mostly from your dad as in your childhood? What do you mostly have from you and your dad's adventures to look back upon?
To look back upon?
Like physically right now, if you're like to tell me about, hey, we did this hunt, here's what I can show you from it. What's the physical thing you would hand me to look at?
a photo of a success.
Exactly.
A photo of a success.
Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
a picture.
I don't really
like a picture to show me. You'd be like, hey, here's a
Yeah.
picture that we took. And it's like, usually back then it was probably like a film.
It's like
a 5x7 or a 4x6.
whatever. Yeah.
So what we're doing with what we're talking about is we're taking that and we're
To the next
expanding
level.
it into a cinema
Oh, yeah.
version.
100%.
And that's what we're doing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And that's where I say I get selfish to where like
Yeah.
when I seen what you've done, obviously, and what you've done for what we've created, I wanted to create that to where I have something of, especially with what's coming up.
Yeah. What's coming up?
The old man got drawn for archery bull tag.
Oh, snap.
And you know what was cool is me and him haven't elk hunted in probably, I'd probably say almost 15 to 20 years.
Yeah. Until.
Until this last year, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. But what I'm
Right.
saying is before that, it was probably 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
And I got drawn last year. We had a phenomenal, I was blessed to be able to get an awesome bull with my dad right next to me
Right.
at 30 yards.
Heck yeah.
Just truly blessed. And what was cool is right after that, the old man was like, I want to get drawn. I need to get drawn, you know? And
He's got the itch.
yeah, he had the
Yeah.
itch, you know, but like as soon as I got drawn, I was like, you're going to be there right next to me. You have to be there.
Yeah.
I need you next to me to be able to experience this hunt.
Yep.
Right. And, cause like I said, growing up, he was always there for me. He was always there to make sure, like he gave up archery hunting to be able to go rifle hunting with his kids. Right. So like growing up, he sacrificed to be able to let me go hunt and experience the outdoors and all this. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, I need to capture all this stuff to be able to bring back to him, to give him this awesomeness that we've created, right? Yeah. But like to experience and to be able to have a film for me to watch later on, if I ever have kids, to let them see. So that's the true goal for me of why I want to get these films done. Well, and dude, it gives you goosebumps, man. Like it really is like, dude, like this last hunt where being able to, like I said, being able to have him with you, obviously for you, dude, being able to capture your dad's elk hunt. These are the moments that you live for, dude. Like these are the moments that you really try to capture this stuff for.
Just that reel. I've made a reel of my dad's elk hunt that was like
where he pops it and drops
less than 60 seconds long. Yeah. And part of it's just with my phone, but then the rest of it's with my high-end camera. And it was like, dude, that 60-second reel will forever be something that
100%.
I don't care if I filmed the whole hunt. Whatever. I got that second of me and him. I've got him dropping it,
and doing
us walking up to it together, and I've got me and him carrying it out in the dark in the body cavity, steaming, and we're packing it out together. And it's like, dude, that right there is worth everything in terms of filming and all that stuff. And all that. So,
no, 100%. And
it takes a photo, like you said. Used to be able to show me photos, and now it takes that and brings it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. We had a prime opportunity of when we went to Texas to be able to do that stuff. Yeah. Which was really cool. And that really got the itch into bringing back the old man into hunting. But, the other thing is, the other thing was like this last hunt, you had, and so that's the other thing is where like, for me, I had a tag, you had a tag, right? Yep. So for us both, we're both filmers and hunters, but at that point we're both hunters.
We decided to curb the cameras. We're like, you know what, let's just hunt first, film.
So we can go so further into this, man. Like we'll have a whole nother podcast, but about our elk hunt. But the moral of the story is like, for this last hunt, I've got photos, right? I don't really necessarily have a video, but I've got photos on my phone or whatever of showcasing that me and my old man were together. We got this hunt done.
Right.
A bull of a lifetime for that unit.
Sure.
To experience with my dad. And I'm super pumped to be able to now be his guide and be his cameraman to create that moment.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I'm so pumped about. And knowing all these things that we do to be able to create that awesome feature.
Right.
So, yeah.
Heck yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Good episode, dude. I think that was bomb. I hope anybody that's interested in filming, learning to capture your hunts, like all that stuff. I mean, I could go into so many other stuff. I can teach you how to mount a GoPro on your bow and all these other crazy things, but I think at the end of the day, I think that was enough.
For the meat and taters of it.
Meat and taters.
Yeah.
Let's go have some meat and taters. I'm getting hungry. And our friends just showed up. So let's go watch some UFC fights.
Let's do it, man. Thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like and follow, share. And if you have any questions, obviously, we'll be glad to help you.
Heck yeah. And check out our hunt films and see if you like them. Because
definitely check out our hunt.
I think they're pretty
dope. If you're listening to this, you better be watching hunt films. Come on.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and smash those 5 stars on iTunes or Spotify and leave a little review at the bottom. It'll really help us out. For our short films, go subscribe over on YouTube. Just search Bowhunting AZ. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at BowhuntingAZ. Good luck to everyone this season. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.